My name is Mark Ginsberg. I'm the former United States Ambassador to Morocco and former Deputy Advisor to the President on Middle East policy.
Why do you think the United States foreign policy towards the Middle East has been so inconsistent in terms of Iran and in terms of the manner in which it dealt with the main Iranian opposition, the MEK?
Well, it's very disappointing to people like me who understand that as a Democrat and who has many good friends in this administration, the issue of democracy in Iran is far more important than almost any issue, because we know that the people in Iran desperately want their freedom and want to have a close tie to the United States. And unfortunately, the President came into office under the misguided assumption that somehow or other he could strike a deal with the likes of a President Ahmadinejad. And unfortunately, we have seen that that was not the case. And also we have seen that the administration didn't really have an effective policy to deal with the uprisings that took place in Iran at a time when that's when so much help was needed for the people of Iran.
Yes. Following on that, the question of the manner in which the United States deals with the opposition, Iranian opposition. The Iranian opposition is delisted now, but there are Iranian lobby, or there are voices in the United States which claim that the Iranian opposition or MEK are insignificant, they are irrelevant in the equation. Having seen what you saw today, what is your take and what's your analysis?
When you have 100,000 people come from all over the world, and the type of leaders who spoke before them from all over the world, when you hear the points of principle of freedom that Mrs. Rajabi has laid out, I think almost every American has to embrace that as a cause and as something they should be supporting. And so I believe that the message here is a message that resonates across the world. People who want to see the Iranian people free should not be duped into believing that its leadership is prepared to give them the human rights they deserve. And that's the message coming out of this important Congress, and it's most importantly a message that should resonate to many governments around the world.
There's been a recent election in Iran, and another mullah has been elected, and there are claims that he's a moderate. Do you see any hope of change in Iran?
I do not believe that until I see more than mere smiles and more than mere willingness to change policies. Why should we give him or his government anything more than our suspicions, our demands that they abide by international law, stop their nuclear program, and stop pretending as if the West owes Iran anything? What the West owes the Iranian people is their freedom. What the West owes the Iranian government is to be held accountable for its policies. That's all that I believe is necessary.
And one final question. The change of political landscape in Iran, a democratic Iran, what kind of impact would it have on the whole of the region?
Well, there's no doubt. We always hoped that the changes from the Arab Spring would have brought change and tranquility and more democratic peace and coexistence in the Arab world, and we've seen what that's happened. That has not happened. In the case of Iran, the people of Iran, if they truly had their freedom, they would essentially change the whole equation in the Middle East. The whole issue over interreligious warfare, interreligious rivalries between among the Arab states would somehow find a way of, in effect, reducing themselves. People would genuinely look to the Iranian people as a country who has a population that is truly prepared to roll up their sleeves and to defend democracy rather than expect that it's going to happen without them doing and taking the action necessary.
I am Congressman Lacey Clay, and I represent St. Louis, Missouri. I'm in my 7th term in the U.S. House, and I've always been a participant and involved and cared about the plight of the refugees that are in Camp Ashraf and as well as Camp Liberty. And I seek a solution to keep those people safe. And let me say hello to my friends in Tehran, and to let them know that they have support outside of Iran and in the U.S. House of Representatives.
For many years, you have been a consistent supporter of the Iranian opposition. You have been a voice to stand and take side with the Iranian people. Over these years, I don't know whether you've noticed any change. If you have, what have you noticed? How things have changed over the years?
Well, I've noticed that we've made progress. Over the last 10 or 12 years, we've witnessed the MEK being delisted by the State Department from the terrorist watch list. We've noticed that we've had movement on Camp Ashraf as well as Camp Liberty. We have been able to and tell the world that this is injustice, this is wrong, and we need to correct it.
What was your take of today's venue?
I was truly amazed at the coming together of people, at over 100,000 people who showed up here in France to show their support for this movement. I was wowed by my constituents who came from the United States to be here, to show their support for this movement and for Madam Rajaba. So, I mean, this is my first time coming to this conference, but it probably will not be my last.
I'm sure it won't be, knowing yourself.
Yeah.
If you had an advice for President Obama, what would your advice be?
To protect, first of all, protect the people at Camp Ashraf as well as Camp Liberty, and to move swiftly, to give them a permanent place to live and prosper, to get them out of harm's way, to press the Iraqi government to do everything in their power to protect those refugees that are in those camps today, but to also move swiftly to move those refugees to a permanent residence, and we can do better, and we should do better. And so I would urge President Obama to look at this situation and get his State Department involved in it in a way that we swiftly move these refugees to a safe environment, to a permanent and safe environment.
People in Liberty are watching this interview. People in Ashraf are watching this interview. What's your message to people in Liberty and Ashraf?
My message is to take examples throughout history and persevere. Have patience. Have patience like African Americans had in the 1950s and 60s, and knew that they would prevail. But it was a struggle to achieve what we did through our civil rights movement here in this country. But be persistent. Be patient, and you will prevail. And just know that you have allies, that you have friends throughout the world and in powerful places, and I am certainly one of them. So Godspeed to you all.